Anyway, after hearing the wonderful cough from Luke, let's introduce our latest guest, Mr. Medhat.
Hello.
Nice. We should get some other sound as well.
I know, it just sounds so cool.
He's so happy with it.
I'm like, okay, true story. Well, not necessarily true story, but I might be a little bit autistic. I just love the same sound the entire time.
All right, I guess some sense
you happy?
of stability.
Yeah,
All
pretty
right.
much.
Well,
Yeah.
Is that something you were lacking in your childhood?
Stability.
We were here to talk about Medhat, not about me. So
Okay.
this isn't about me.
It's fine, man. It's fine. You're
All
done,
right,
Luke. Or...
I'm done with this. Bye.
Yeah, we need a bit of exposition on you.
Exposition. We've got it on camera.
Yes.
You steered the conversation away from anything that is even remotely related to exposition.
Oh,
So,
right.
Medhat, what do you think?
Thank you.
What was he missing? in his childhood.
I am not following what you're saying.
Okay.
Neither am I. This is a conversation that's going nowhere. Let's do this again. Hello, Medhat.
Yeah, let's start over.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I was a little bit stressed when I get off the stage, but now I'm okay.
You were stressed when you got off the stage.
Yes.
Well,
Why?
not when you got on the stage.
Were you stressed when you got on the stage?
I was stressed during being on a stage and afterwards. Before that, yeah, to be honest, I was not.
Wow.
I was just stepping into the stage and say, all right, yeah, let's do it anyway. But afterwards, during the presentation, I just feel that I am forgetting some stuff, and I'm, startling sometime and saying some and it doesn't work for me. And suddenly, I find out that the time is over, and after the time is over, every time it is flashing in front of you, and this is stressing you more. Okay, so from there, I get out stressed that I didn't finish on time. Number one. Number two, that I can't gather the feedback very, in the proper way. As a speaker, you just finish and get off. And afterwards, I hear the compliments from everyone.
Really?
Which makes me, all right. People, you really like it? Why I was not liking it? That was for me a surprise, and I learned something new today. That speaking in the conference, you wouldn't really feel what the people think about you as you are in the stage, except if you are an actor or something. So performance, you can just say a joke and people are laughing. Yeah, okay, I'm doing okay. But for me, I'm saying a very technical topic. You can't just gather this, except for one person or another nodding to you that yeah, you're doing okay. One guy was right in front of me, was shaking his head, and that was for me. What?
Oh no!
What are you thinking about me?
Who is this person?
I don't know him. I know his face, but I don't know his name.
So you're gonna find him after.
Let's see if we can find him after, and
Yeah.
we can ask him the hard questions like, why were you shaking your head? Why were you saying basically no to Medhat?
I don't know. It's a no for me or no for what I was presenting, because you cannot split that. If I'm saying, all right, you are supposed to cut the bundle in half, he might, he doesn't like this.
He might disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he keep doing that. It's not really only for me as a speaker or the way I'm presenting, but it can be anything. That guy stressed me out for a bit, and I decided to look around, and everyone else was nodding. So there's something wrong with you. Not about me, it's about you.
Oh, very good. Good on
Yeah,
you
you're
for that
just
one.
making it really personal as well. Like, it's all you, man.
Yeah.
That fight was running inside my brain, and
But you managed to still do the entire presentation whilst having that fight inside your head.
Yeah.
Which is a no small feat.
yeah, absolutely. And actually, before the talk, I know that it's going to be longer than 25 minutes. And I prepared myself to cut a lot. And actually, I cut it like 5 slides this morning from it. Yesterday, I cut like 15. And today, I cut 5. It's supposed to be longer. I get like 10 minutes more. I asked Anuradha. She was after me. And I asked her to, give me 5 minutes from her talk. And she said, okay, fine. My topic is a bit short. But I get 10 minutes over the time. The good thing that people were not bored. I didn't find anyone leaving the stage or leaving his chair for doing something, maybe for a good reason. You just came from a lunch break and they don't want to do anything.
Of course. No, they're tired. They're like full bellies. And
Yeah, maybe they were not following.
Easy listening.
Nobody listened.
Nobody listened to it.
I think that if you have an interesting topic, you can tell because people are actually looking at you and not at their laptops or their phones.
Right.
That happens. That happens, to be honest. What I loved about this, that everyone was focusing on me or on the presentation behind me. And really, I got a lot of feedback afterwards. During the presentation, I was stressed. And I lived stressed because of the overtime and all this stuff. But afterwards, when I meet anyone, I ask him, yeah, you watched my presentation? He said, yes. Okay, what do you think? And everyone is saying it was awesome.
Because it
What?
was.
Guys, why you think it was awesome? So I find out that I was pushing myself too hard to make it perfect, and it wouldn't be perfect. We're humans. We can do mistakes on the stage. We can, for me, it's saying some stuff nonsense on the stage as well, or maybe, anything. It can happen. Even I forgot in the end to run the demo. I left there some QR codes so people can scan it and try it out on their phones, and obviously they will find a great performance win there. But I didn't run it myself because I was stressed out 10 minutes later, and this flash in front of me, everything was pushing me. Okay,
Was it your first time on stage?
First time on stage as well.
So what was the takeaway for you for the first time on stage?
I asked some people who used to do that beforehand, and what they told me is to prepare well and rehearse a lot. And I take it from there, and I think I rehearsed it a lot in the past 3 days at least, and it pays off. The feedback is great. Okay.
How did you rehearse?
It starts for me. I can take you through the presentation or the talk preparation, if you will.
Yeah, that'd be really. I think that would be super insightful for people listening to this podcast as well. Like people who have speaking aspirations.
Yeah.
It would be good to know. Like, how do you prepare? How do you prepare for speaking for roughly 500-600 people, which is a huge amount of people to speak for, especially for a first time.
Yeah. But it's not only about the audience number, because it can be 6,000 or it can be 6 people, but you always should be prepared, well prepared. What pushed me or stressed me too much beforehand, like a week ago, was like, all right, I'm going to talk about something very deeply technical and in front of a lot of people. Not only that, it will be captured in a video and streamed out, and it will be on YouTube forever. And people can watch it later, and any mistake you made, you can just delete it. It's not post-production, it's live. So what is there will be there. That was making me stressed. But let me get you through my preparation really briefly. What I did, I searched a lot how people are preparing the technical talks, because there is some content on the internet speaking about how to prepare for a talk in general, but it's informative talk if you are motivational talk like a TED talk or something. But talking technically, there is no content. I think I'm going to start writing or making videos about that, how to prepare for a technical talk. That thing I can't find online. No one is speaking about this in a proper way. There is no framework to follow. So
That's good.
I need to find out. What I did, and works for me, is first of all, I decided about the topic. Okay, this is the topic I would like to talk about, and I have a bit of information, and I would like to research more. And whatever the talk is about, something you are very familiar with, you have to study again. You have to learn that what you're saying, you are 100%, 150% confident that this is true. Because the people who are listening to you, either they are getting this as a piece of information and get it for granted, or they're going to say, no, that's not true. You are saying garbage in this talk. So in both ways, you are doing a bad thing, giving them a false information. So you have to study what you know. You know, you're doing it on daily basis, you have to study. What I did is that, okay, this is the topic, performance. And then I started to make a research. I gathered a lot of resources, articles, videos. I watched almost all the videos talking about performance on YouTube in different conferences, okay? I am trying to make, a sense what people are doing in such a talk, talking about performance. What's the best way? I find some good talks, very good talks, and I find very bad talks. And from both of them, I learned something. And I get all the articles gathered in a Notion page, and later on, in another day, I start reading them. Actually, it took me like 3 days to read all of them. I gathered a lot of content. It's only reading. I'm not preparing anything. It's only reading the resources that I find valuable and serving my purpose. Okay. After reading everything, every time I'm reading something and I find a new idea, I'm writing in a Notion note, a lot of notes, just through them, through it there. It's a new Notion like about how to measure. Okay, this and that. You can do this and you can do that. And everyone is suggesting a new thing in an article or in a video or whatever. I'm writing down. I'm gathering information. Everything is there. I read it out loud. I find some stuff is invalid because long time ago performance thing. Okay, this is aside. I started to learn how the browser is working. Okay, for my talk, this is specific to my talk, but you should learn how this is the field that you are enhancing the performance in. So I need to learn how to run this thing, how people will perceive it. Okay, so I read almost half the articles in web.dev. This is the blog for people working for Chromium, which is a great resource for anyone who would like to learn about performance. I didn't finish everything, but I learned enough what I needed in this talk. So till now, I have nothing. Some resources, I read, I watch, I write notes. The output, a list of notes. Okay? So the next thing is to write something I call like, not flashcards, but like cards. Okay? I get some sticky notes. I write every category of these notes in a sticky note and start ordering them. What should come before what? What serves what? What depend on what? Until I have like a tree of sticky notes in front of me. That happens. I'm talking about what I did.
A tree of sticky notes. Okay, how would that look? Is it like a literal tree of sticky notes? I'm trying to picture
like
this.
this full room, like just
it's like
full room of sticky
is it a
notes.
Christmas tree made of sticky notes?
Yeah, like this in these movies, like this research room with all the
it's like the guy who connects like all the
with all the rope all throughout the whole
wow.
room.
It's like Prison Break when he put everything on the wall to break. I did the same thing, but for performance, So after having all these cards, you start by after ordering them as well. What comes after what? You start to form a story. What is the story that you would like to give to the people? Starting the story from the end, not from the start. This is something in the storytelling anyway. I learned it by time. So you start from the end. What is the message that you would like to deliver? I start from there. I would like to tell people some tips to make their website performant, but in a very cheap way. It doesn't require a lot of work because based on what I know and what I learned, the whole resources I learned, this is a complex topic. It's not an easy one. So how to make it cheap? This is the message that I would like to deliver. Look into the list, the tree of sticky notes, and see what will serve this goal. Then I started eliminating some and filter them. It becomes in the end like 10 of them. Okay, it was around 30, 40 something before. Just eliminate everything. It becomes like 10. This will serve the idea. So what is the story? The story is to create something and progressively enhance it every time, because this is how we are working in daily job. If you would like to enhance the performance of something, you just start from X and you would like to go to Z. How to go to Z? These are the steps. And for technical talks, you usually would like to think about it. Don't think about it like what you need to teach. It's what you need to learn. If I am one of the audience, what I need to learn is that, okay, this is state. How can I reach to this state? That's actually my story during my talk. I did that. But to serve that, to give them a state and go to the other state, what is happening in between requires some knowledge. That's why I started by introduction. First, what is performance? Why it is important to everyone to care about? And then how to measure it? Then use all this information in the story. The story is starting from here. Yeah, I used these tools that I talked about earlier and I measured it. It's bad because you know that we are, single thread. This introduction, I said it's single thread. That's why gradually we are trying to free up or make it idle the thread during my story about moving from X to Z. And eventually what we did lead us to the final result. And the motto is, okay, make cheap wins in performance using this and that and this and that. but some takeaways in the end. So starting from gathering information, filtering them, make cards, make a story, make the end point what you need to deliver, form from this list of sticky notes what serves your goal, and make something meaningful for the people. How to make this, progressively happening.
This is a fairly comprehensive guide on how to prepare for a talk.
Really,
like
but it's also really good.
Seriously, this is really good. I think this is super useful for people.
Because your topic is quite a risk one, right? So it is performance wins, but it's so easy to bore someone to death with it.
That's right.
Like you're gonna have this very technical thing, and you say, "Yeah, I won 5% performance on this." Yeah, so what now? But this sounds like a real good approach to actually make a good story.
Yeah.
Well, not even a good story, but also a very good way to approach the problem. For example, performance wins.
Yeah.
Or how to achieve performance wins when your site performance is poor.
Yeah.
Doing your due diligence through your research. So when you were doing the research, you said that I read so many things, I had so many findings. What were some of the more interesting findings you found?
This new thing that was introduced like 9 months ago, the Core Web Vitals. The Chromium team is doing, an amazing job explaining that to everyone and pushing everyone to learn it and how to gradually grasp this, and a lot of resources and even some visuals in my talk was taken from their blog, because why should I create it or recreate it? It's really good explanation there.
Yeah, of course.
So for me, web.dev, I have it in my bookmarks for a long time to learn a lot. That was, the talk was for me a motivation to push myself, learn what I am supposed to learn, or at least, even if I know some stuff in it, emphasize it, learn it more, make a deep knowledge about it. And I'm reading a book, for example now, it's calling browser networking. It's really good, but it's a book from O'Reilly. It's a very big book. And I'm not going to finish it on time before the talk. So what can I do? Is finding the good resource. So for performance, the good resource is web.dev, definitely. And anything that the Chromium team is writing out there is really good, including, of course, Adi Osmani as a lead of this and so on. A lot of people are writing out, not only Adi, but you can check out as well. There's a website created by Adi Osmani and what's her name? Lydia Halil, I guess. They are creating a website called pattern.dev. And patterns.dev is actually having a lot of patterns, including the performance patterns. So some of the things that I'm saying today was included there. And this is kind of the second version of a book I read by Adi Osmani before. It's about design patterns in JavaScript. But this one is including visuals, is including some animations, is including some explanation in articles. That's awesome. You have to check it out.
Okay, so there's a more comprehensive explanation to all these concepts that we've been working with for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually ties into what Maggie was saying, how to make things more visual, to make things more understandable to developers and non-developers as well. So you say patterns.dev.
Yeah.
All right. So for those of you who are watching or listening, patterns.dev. We'll probably link it
Highly
somewhere
recommend.
in the description.
Yes.
So you've already worked with patterns.dev then. You've already seen it. How has that helped you?
So I feel like originally, having gone through the struggle of swapping between frameworks and swapping between languages, the original like Java object-oriented approach where you had your static, the singletons and all the other crazy weird stuff, and then swapping over to something like React where you're prop drilling, where you're doing hooks, where you're doing dynamic updating and all sorts of weird things. There's a bunch of like, I don't know. I feel like patterns.dev is that site that I look at now and I go, I know this, but like, had I seen this back then, where would I be now? Right? Because it's the way of explaining the drawings, the technical stuff. It's crazy how people like Maggie. I did it again. I'm messing up Devi and it's okay. It's going great.
It's okay. We're gonna edit that. Don't worry.
Yet again.
Just got it.
I think I called her like Debbie 3 times today, and it's not going great. But the drawings are phenomenal, and it's crazy that we have these people that are capable of communicating such complex things through such means, right? But yes, definitely recommend checking it out.
Do you think the drawings are understandable if you don't know the concepts at first?
Yes, definitely.
Because sometimes you have these drawings that if you see them, they make something you already know very comprehensible. But if you don't know of it up front, then it's suddenly very hard to understand what is actually being communicated.
I feel like if you were to take those, cover some stuff up, and then like frame by frame slowly reveal more and do a voiceover, you've got a perfect tutorial series.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Would you agree with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's something that we could do then.
Possibly.
Start up our own tutorial
Probably.
series.
Yeah.
Just rip off pattern.dev and okay. This is our idea. Don't even think about it.
Oh, man. you know, as well, the girl who created patterns.dev alongside with Addy, she's Dutch, by the way. She's Dutch. I think it's 23 years old.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
I just feel old when I watch that, but actually, she is creating content already and a speaker, and joined Vercel recently. I'm following her on Twitter, and she is creating a lot of content and articles using these visuals. She's good in making, you know, animation of how even the JavaScript working, how the heap is working, how the async thing is working. You should check it out. We can blog as well the links of these articles. Actually, this what helped me to how she's creating content. I'm creator as well for the content, but not that good. I just feel all right. I would like to be like that. I would like to learn how to do that, but I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. She's creating very good content, especially for the patterns.dev website, and of course, this content has been revised by a lot of Googlers. So this makes it great, I would say.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
I've got
Man.
patterns.dev open, by the way.
There we go. There we
Wanna
go.
have a look?
Oh, you even got it.
Something
Yeah,
to
they are
take a look at.
great.
Yeah, that
Oh,
looks
man, I haven't
super.
seen that before. That,
Yeah.
looks
That
so
looks
good.
super useful.
Really
So you
great.
can take anything, right?
I think this particular interview has been one to remember because super useful and insightful tips on how to prepare for a talk, as well as converting certain patterns that we've been using day in, day out to something that spreads just beyond the domain of JavaScript, but into the domain of programming itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Really cool. So
Awesome.
we have speaker preparation or speaking preparation, dev tools, and well, when are we going to start a YouTube series?
Who knows? So I know we're running short on time, but here's a question I'd love to ask. Medhat, I'm going to call you out here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You've been creating on YouTube for a little while now, right?
We'll link it in the description.
All right.
But in a different language,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
In
In Arabic, yeah.
Yes.
I can create content in Arabic, my mother tongue. So yeah, you just continue with your question.
so how's that different from speaking on stage?
Well, I used to speak on. Yeah, it's a very good question. Good question is answered with.
A good answer.
That's a very good
Or
question.
one answer.
I'd say it depends. So
From the talk.
Oh my god, it depends.
actually-
Which was the button again for the... I should have had the soundboard
I should have had this.
So,
memorized.
yeah, I used to create content off stage, and in front of the camera is totally different than being on the stage. Because in front of the camera, you get used to it. You're comfortable in your place. You know your chair, your place, your lighting, something like that. That's why I am not stressing out right now, because I have a similar setup at home.
No, it feels familiar for you.
Yeah, very familiar.
Yeah.
In front of the camera, I have
it's like-
lighting. I have
He
a
has
professional
3 cameras and 3 lights as well.
No, I have only I have only one
Four-
camera, but
four
I have,
microphones.
I have 3 lightings.
Jeez.
I have the back lights, and I have one right from here, and I have a professional camera, a Canon ADT, and I have a professional mic. Maybe I'm going to renew it. He recommended something to me, so I'm familiar with that. But the other situation, being in front of the people, there is no post-production on the stage. I used to post-production. If I mumbled I'm doing that a lot till now. But every time I'm saying, okay, I'm going to say it again, and I will cut it post-production. I can't do that on a stage. That's why it is more stressful. And even in podcasts or lives or spaces or whatever, this makes you all right. If I say something garbage, it will stay forever. You cannot delete something from the internet. If you delete it, it's not really hard to delete. It will be there somewhere. Someone listen to it.
Someone's probably already captured it, and you won't be able to get it.
Yeah, they're gonna make like a soundbite out of it, right? Like if you like mumble on stage, it's just gonna be a soundbite. For
one day you're like winning best actor, and the next day you're the biggest meme since I don't know when.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I mean, does it matter, right? I mean, if you make a mistake on stage, who cares? Like it already takes a lot of courage to get on the stage.
I think
this is the problem, that if you get used to speaking to the camera and you get used to this post-production, usually you are producing almost perfect video. You get used to be a perfect video without a problem, because problems can be cutted out. I can't do that on a stage. I need to get used to it. I'm not saying there's a problem. We are humans. We're doing that. I'm still doing that, but post-production, I'm deleting it. But again, I get used to create a video which doesn't have any mumbling or 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 whatever else. I do that on a stage, and
but that's okay. I think that makes it more human, right? You mean you are a human?
Yeah.
You're allowed to make mistakes. And that's okay. I mean, there's
human.
There's 500 people in that room right now who do not have the opportunity to stand there and speak, but they are more than willing to listen to you, flaws and all, because you have something interesting to tell them, something interesting to teach them, mostly as well. So I mean, you're allowed the few and you're allowed the few. And I don't think anybody cares. I think you are the only person who's going to care, which I understand. It is understandable that you want to.
I just get used to that.
Yeah,
you know,
especially
I need to get used to the other way around.
Yeah.
I need to get used to lives. And if I, for example, I'm a Twitch streamer or something, I would get used to being on a stage more, because I'm on live.
You're live.
I used to do this in front of people and do whatever I want, and it's not cut it later. It will be staying there. I will be used to do this kind of stuff. But I use more into, recording, post-production, and going there with almost zero faults, which is bad.
In this case, we're going to edit this interview so that Medhat will sound perfectly without any mistakes.
I think we should edit some mistakes in, actually.
Edit some mistakes.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
all right.
we should just add some.
Considering the time, though, I'm going to have to sort of be the gatekeeper here, because we still have a couple people to interview.
Just one more question. I mean, Medhat, so this is a lot different on stage. Are we going to see more from you?
Yeah, definitely. Sure.
I would like to see more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You like it, really?
Well, we know we heard a couple things, we've seen a couple things, not the entire thing because we are busy with the podcast, obviously, but the subject that you are broaching here and teaching people about is something that I feel is lacking in the development space, and it's great to have someone who can so eloquently tell people about this and also offer some very tangible solutions. So yes, please, more spaces, more places.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I will try, of course, to create more content, and maybe this talk, the output, and all these researches. I might create a blog post or something to make it like concrete for people who don't like to watch, would like to read more, because different people like different type of content. And of course, if it's written there, I can blog it into this podcast as well, so people can
it'll be cool. If there is a blog post, we can definitely add it. All right, Medhat, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And we're off to the next speaker.
Off to the next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.